I began hearing of Canon Andrew White some years ago, known as the Vicar of Baghdad, and serving with the church in Iraq until he had to leave in 2014 because of security concerns, worked previously in the West Bank. You talk about difficult areas, life-threatening areas, areas with great religious conflict and ethnic conflict. He's been right in the thick of it and has seen the Lord's grace in the midst of it. I knew of his courage and testimony, was delighted to find out that he began to work with some of our missionaries in Kurdistan, northern Iraq, in recent years. He has a book out, Glory Zone in the War Zone. Somehow we've never talked. I mean, we're in similar circles and our names come up. So it's actually the first time I have the honor and joy of talking to Canon Andrew White. Sir, thanks for joining us on The Line of Fire.
Shalom, Erev Tov.
Shalom, here we are at last. Yes, so we could speak in Hebrew or we could speak in English for the folks, but Na'imo, great to talk with you, sir.
Well, we can always talk in Yiddish.
Yeah, that you'd lose.
I hear you're a Brooklyn boy.
Yeah, well, born actually in Manhattan and then raised on Long Island, so close, very close to there. But great to officially hear your voice. Where are you living right now?
Well, my home, usually when I'm not under lockdown, is between Yerushalayim and Jordan. But now I'm in England. I'm locked down at home in England.
Oh, boy. So that's not the place you want to be.
It's really tough. I have managed to write 2 books whilst I've been locked down. They're both published. And this Glory in the War Zone is one of them.
Excellent. Excellent. What have you seen in Iraq? What type of experiences have you had with the persecuted church, suffering Christians, things that have broken your heart but also inspired you? Give us a picture. Give us a glimpse of what life has been like.
Well, my story in Iraq is a supernatural story. It's one of total devastation and total glory. It's a story of the thousands of our people being killed. And it's a story of people being raised from the dead. And it's a story whereby people say, have you seen angels? We had angels with us all the time. Every day we saw angels, literally. And particularly in our worship, and particularly with young people. And one of my books, in my books, I say, people say to me, did you have a lot of fear? Were you frightened? And I say no, because perfect love casts out all fear, not some. And the perfect love was given by my children.
So you're saying what you witnessed in them, their love for God and for you, drove fear out? Where did they get?
Absolutely.
So they're facing literally slaughter. They're getting killed, families being torn apart.
When you hear their stories of how they had to, I remember 2 of my children, Lena and Fuller, saying, we had to hide under the table because the American and British bombs were dropping on us. And our whole church had been blown up and everything was finished. But our people knew that in the midst of this, they had seen the glory of the resurrected Lord. And we call Jesus Yeshua, not Yeshua, Yeshua. We pray and speak and preach in Aramaic. It's all Aramaic, the actual language of Jesus. And every prayer is grounded in the blessing. We say, Shemit Baba Brona Broka Gusha Halaha. And it says we believe in one God, who is the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Only one God. And we say that because we have to show that we don't believe in three gods. Mm-hmm. Because the Muslims think we have three gods. So we really demonstrate the reality and the nature of the glorious Trinity. And do you understand the Trinity? No, we don't. But it is the mystery which inspires us and empowers us.
What type of courage did you see in these Christians? These are ordinary people. These are moms and dads. These are people working jobs. These are kids, as well as pastors and leaders. What type of commitment did they show in the face of struggle? I mean, it'd just be easier for many just to convert to Islam and not be under so much pressure. What did you see among these people?
Well, I remember one day when the Voice of the Martyrs visited us. They came from the Netherlands and they ministered with us. And they turned round to two of my children, Lena and Fuller, and they said, how is it in the midst of all these bombs landing every day, in the midst of all these ID attacks, you are the happiest people we have literally ever seen? And they turned round and they said, when you have lost everything, Jesus is all you've got left. Mm. And we have lost everything, but not Jesus.
Mm. Incredible. Incredible.
I can honestly say that the only time I was scared was I used to do a lot of work on releasing hostages. And when I think about working for the release of hostages, I think about the first occasion I was involved in such activity, which was in 2001, and that was in the Bethlehem siege, when the whole of Bethlehem was taken over by the terrorists, and they took over the Church of the Nativity. And that took me 39 days. And I didn't realize that that would be nothing. In Iraq, I worked on the release of hostages for over 6 years sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I can remember one occasion, because the only way you can make peace is if you know the bad guys. You can't make peace with the good people. You know, these peace groups, they have peace groups and peace meetings, and they try and make peace. Fine, you can talk about it, but you can't do it. And I was looking for some hostages one day, and they were Portuguese nationals working in Iraq as expats. And I found out who had taken these hostages. And I went to try and find them. And I met these people, and they were really, really bad. And they decided they would kidnap me. So they threw me in a totally black room. Literally not a flickering of light at all. I couldn't use a phone or anything. It was all dark and black. And then after 2 days, I remembered that I had a satellite phone on me. Now, the satellite phone didn't work in this dungeon, but I had the light. I put the phone on and looked around, and I saw that the floor was covered with chopped off fingers and toes.
Ugh.
They were the fingers and toes of the people that I was looking for. So I realized I had not saved them. And then after 2 days, the kidnappers came in to give me my daily allowance of just water. And I got talking to them, and I explained to them, was there anything I could do to help them? It wasn't, can you get me out? It was, how can I help you? And I realized that they really wanted me to help them get out their Sheikh Khazali, their big sheikh, who was the leader of all the terrorist groups. But he was held by the Americans. And so, fortunately, I was part of the American embassy set up under the Coalition Provisional Authority. And around my waist, these were really bad kidnappers.
But hang on right there. Obviously, no one's going anywhere. Got to hear the rest of the story. Canon Andrew White, his book, Glory Zone in the War Zone, Miracles, Signs, and Wonders in the Middle East. Somebody who lived it. Somebody who saw hell on earth and saw the presence and glory of God in the midst of it. It's a bit of a reality check for us here in America, and a great word of encouragement. Glory Zone in the War Zone. We'll be right back. Speaking with Canon Andrew White, known as the Vicar of Baghdad, his new book, Glory Zone in the War Zone, Miracles, Signs, and Wonders in the Middle East. Okay, you have been kidnapped by bad players, the people that you're looking for, that you're hoping to negotiate their release. They have been chopped to pieces, and you're in a dark dungeon cell with some of the pieces of their body, now talking to these terrorists who you ask, how can you help them? And they tell you they want the release of their sheikh who's held by American authorities, but you've got connection with the American embassy. So back to you, sir.
So what I did was discuss the issue. And I said, look, I can get you to him. I will go and see him. But you need to let me out. Now, I knew that they would want me to assure that I would do something, but also to provide something for them. Now, it just so happened that a certain pastor in Charlotte, North Carolina, had given me a body belt filled with money. And there was $50,000 in that money belt stood around my waist. So I took that money out and basically gave it to them. And that's what saved me. That is what saved our ministry. That is what saved many, many people's lives. And it was all because of a church in Fort Mill, North Carolina, giving a generous gift to me to take back to my people. we had so many supernatural experiences there. It was amazing to see the number of people who were literally raised from the dead. And I have been greatly blessed in my life to be the grandson of not an Anglican. I wasn't brought up an Anglican. I was reared in between the strict and particular Baptists, which made the most strict Southern Baptists look conservative, and the Pentecostal Church, the Assemblies of God. And my grandfather had been a missionary with the Assemblies of God, and he used to work for a very famous guy called Smith Wigglesworth.
Oh, amazing.
And I actually, when he died in 1947, Donald G., who was a great Pentecostal leader at the time, was taking Smith Wigglesworth's funeral, and he gave his Bible to my grandfather.
Wow.
Now, when my grandfather was about to die, a few days before he died, he called me over and he said, Andrew, I want to give you the most valuable thing I have. And it was Smith Wigglesworth's Bible. And do you know what I said? I said, Papa, Smith who? Who is he? And he said, Smith Wigglesworth, one of the great Pentecostal leaders. So I actually have carried his Bible all around the world with me. His Bible came to me with me in the most dangerous times in the war zone. His Bible comes to me when I go to my favorite place now is Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry in Redmond, California. I never forget the day that I took his Bible out, and it's completely falling to pieces, and bits of the Bible were falling on the floor. And some of the students went around and they collected all the bits, and they put them together, laminated them, and next day presented me with a laminated cover of broken bits of the Bible.
Amazing.
Very good.
Amazing. Yeah, and it must have been a well-worn Bible just in Wigglesworth's day alone because of his voracious reading of the Word. When you say that you literally saw people raised from the dead, and it's obviously happened. So you document this, talk about it in your book, Glory Zone in the War Zone. We've got about 4 minutes. Can you just tell us one story of what you witnessed in terms of someone being raised from the dead?
Well, one of the most wonderful stories was of a young girl with cystic fibrosis. Every place I've ever worked, including to this day, I've had a church and a medical clinic. And my background is in medicine. I'm an anesthesiologist by training. And a man came into the clinic one day, Ibrahim his name was. He said, please, can my daughter come here and be treated? She's so ill. And they brought him to me, and I said, where is she? He said, she's in the university hospital. I said, we can't take somebody else to the university hospital and treat them. I said, I want to pray for her now. I prayed for her and I said, the Lord is going to make her better today. And he cried and I said, just go to her and say the word Yeshua, 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 which for us is Jesus. He went to the hospital, he got to the intensive care unit, and just as he was about to enter the intensive care unit, the consultant came to him and said, I'm really sorry, Ibrahim. When you were away, your daughter died.
Mm.
And he cried and cried, and he went to bed. He lifted up the sheet on her bed and put his arms around her and just said, Yeshua, 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 like he'd been saying all the way. And she sat up and she said, Daddy, I'm hungry. Can I have some food?
Mm.
So when he came and told me this, I said, don't worry, it's happened before. Just like that. So I was his daughter.
Mm. Incredible.
So that was one of the many resurrection stories.
Do you feel, sir, that sometimes in a country like America, where we have it a lot easier, where we're not suffering overtly that kind of persecution and life is easier in general, that we can get somewhat soft in our Christianity, lose the radical nature of it, the courageous nature of it, even the faith nature of it? Do you think that's the danger in a country like America?
Can I be honest with you about America?
Yeah.
You think America's bad, you should. And I really love being in America. And I see such faith amongst so many of the Christians. All of my Christians at Bethel, I think of Michael Yosef, who got us the satellite Bibles, the Bibles which basically solar powered. When ISIS destroyed all of our Bibles, we had nothing. And they gave us the satellite Bibles. And our people had the word so much so that our children learnt the Bible in English and Arabic word for word. They didn't want to be beaten by the Muslim children, so they learnt it from the In Contact ministry.
So what you've seen in America is people who are full of faith and full of generosity. And I've had other missions friends and others from other parts of the world share that with me in terms of generosity of Americans and people of faith. Often we have been not aggressive in terms of a burden to share with the lost, and often lack of backbone to stand, but may we all stand strong in the midst of the fire. My brother, we've got to meet face to face, but we're out of time. Folks, you have to just get the book, Glory Zone in the War Zone, Canon Andrew White.
Published by Destiny Image.
All right, by Destiny Image, which published many of my revival books. God bless you, my friend, and we will meet.
Blessings, my dear friend.
Lehitraot.
I pray I will get to you.
Lehitraot. God bless you.